Ed Plocha, number 47 of the class of 1965, was the linchpin of the vaunted LaSalle defense of the 1963 and 64 teams that gave up only 76 points in 14 league games. Cloaca was 6 foot tall and was listed at only 170 pounds, but played and hit like he was 30 pounds heavier. He played the middle guard position on defense, lining up right on the center at times, but usually in the gaps. He had the quickness of a cheetah off the snap, having great anticipation and often looking like he was offsides. Once he was moving, he had the ferocity of a mountain lion, hunting down his helpless prey for big losses. He could pursue sideline to sideline, and he also had a great gift of playing low, using leverage to get around the blockers and get to the ball carrier in record time. Ed Plocha was a first-team All-Catholic guard in all of the local newspaper polls and was highly respected by his teammates as a great player and leader. So when you think about LaSalle football, remember Ed Plocha, class of 1965. Kuznetsov, number 52 of the class of 2018, was another notable star in a great lineage of defensive ends for LaSalle. Though at 6 foot 2 inches and 230 pounds, he had the strength to also line up at the tackle position. Kuznetsov had a great outside rush on the quarterback from the blind side, beating his blocker to the outside, but he also had the strength to bull rush and the agility to make spin moves to the inside. He was relentless in his pursuit of running backs across the field, but his real passion was sacking quarterbacks and taking the heart out of the opponent offense. He was a heat-seeking missile, and he rarely missed his target, blowing up a promising play by flattening the passer. Kuznetsov rose through the ranks to become more than just a solid player. He was on many local All-Catholic lists and played with the energy and authority of a real leader on defense, while often going both ways during key games. So when you think of LaSalle football, remember Dan Kuznetsov, class of 2018. Bernie Burke, number 55, of the class of 1953, had a great football lineage. His dad, also named Bernie Burke, was affixed with the nickname of Husky and was a great star for West Catholic for their 1929 and 1930 teams. LaSalle's Bernie Burke inherited his dad's size and his nickname, playing at 5 foot 10 inches and weighing a solid 192 pounds. Burke excelled at fullback and linebacker on a couple of struggling Little Explorer teams that won only 2 games in those 2 years. Despite the difficult setting, Bernie Burke played with the ferocity and nobility of a champion, running around and through tacklers as a fullback, and filling gaps and supplying devastating hits to opposing runners on defense. Burke was versatile, also punting and place kicking, and occasionally quick kicking out of his fullback position. He caught passes out of the backfield and was a threat in the passing lanes on defense, intercepting an aerial in a 1952 North Catholic contest and returning it for a touchdown. Bernie Burke achieved second-team All-Catholic honors, but more importantly, created his own legacy as a great football player and is well remembered by his classmates. Even though it's been well over 50 years since he wore the blue and gold, Bernie Husky Burke still looks like he could suit up and knock some people around. So when you think of LaSalle football, remember Bernie Husky Burke, class of 1953. Brian Kersey, number 14, of the class of 1996, was a notorious pest to Catholic League defenses of the mid-1990s. At 5 foot 7 inches and 145 pounds, Kersey didn't even fill out his uniform, but once the ball was snapped, he was a bolt of lightning from his wide receiver position, a frequent target with his ability to make sharp cuts and his speed to separate from the defensive backs. Kersey had the guts to catch slant passes over the middle in traffic, often blasted after the catch but getting up quickly and getting back into the huddle. Old-timers could see a Tommy McDonald characteristic in Brian Curci. He also had the ability to make a quick move past the defender and head deep, cradling the arcing aerials from sophomore quarterback Brett Gordon for many a touchdown. A current player like Danny Amendola comes to mind when watching Kersey get open deep. Kersey was a vital cog in the return to prominence of LaSalle football in 1995 as the team won the Catholic League crown. Brian Kersey caught 41 passes, 9 for touchdowns, and played with a brashness and energy that symbolized the team's ascent to the throne of a champion. So when you think of LaSalle football, remember Brian Kersey, class of 1996. Paul Aita, numbers 30 and 27 of the class of 1958, was born to play quarterback. He got his first opportunity for the blue and gold as a 14-year-old sophomore in mop-up duty for some games in the 1955 championship season, and became the starter as a 15-year-old in his junior year of 1956. Aita was a masterful signal caller, spreading the ball around to his backfield mates and making key decisions based on what he saw from the defenses. His ability to perform sleight of hand handoffs broke many a back through the opposing line on trap plays. Aita was also an accomplished passer, and his pass-catching partner in his junior year was Lou Greco, connecting together for many a long touchdown. Aita and Greco were part of the famed Pony Backfield of 1956, along with Johnny Herrera and Ed Dever. Paul Aita was the field general of the great unbeaten 1957 team, spearheading a high-scoring offense that racked up more points than any previous LaSalle squad. But it was in the city title game that Aita saved his best. On a 4th and 9 at the Roxborough 13, with his team down 6-0, Aita called a pass and floated a pass over several defenders and into the waiting arms of Johnny Herrera for the tying touchdown, as LaSalle went on to win the city crown 19-6. Aita won all Catholic honors in both his junior and senior seasons, but more importantly, young Paul Aita won the respect and admiration of his teammates as the consummate field general and leader, fulfilling the dreams of the boy who was born to play quarterback. So when you think of LaSalle football, remember Paul Aita, class of 1958.